So in this episode of the Grizzly Oak Art Gallery, I'm going to show you guys these skulls I've created. I only came up with the idea a couple years ago, inspired by my local art walk friend Josh. It was a skull made out of plaster and wire. So what I came up with is these skulls. And I was working with pallet wood and saw recycled lumber. I'll show you a few pieces I've made out of this idea. The first human skull I made was this one I named Vigo 1. Vigo 1 was made out of a sewing machine. Here's the handles from that sewing machine and some knobs from it. Each piece layered in is a part of it, rather if it was the top or the sides. This is part of the collection of accessories that came with the sewing machine. Parts that weren't included in the sewing machine are these rods. Those are just raw steel I had in the garage. And this piece here, which was from, I believe, an AC condenser in a car. And the concept for these skulls is from a world I've created in my comic books, which, if you hang on long enough, you will learn about them too in these videos. I have comic book tutorials coming up. And I made that comic book world in order to create these skulls. This is the third human skull I carved. I call this one Sky Chief. The inspiration from it came from a sewing machine. All these parts were from the sewing machine, except for the headphone. The headphone was found when I was urban exploring with a buddy of mine in Winnipeg. The parts of the sewing machine from this one were from a Singer, which were actually part of the Vigo piece that you saw earlier. This was a Singer belt guard, and you can see the cool pattern right here. I took that and continue it throughout the skull. Sky Chief is definitely one of my favorites. I just love how dark it is, and I mean, when I hear Sky Chief, I think blue, but this guy really changed my mind about that. Was the fifth one I did, and this one, the idea was to build it around the eyeball. Now, this eyeball came from a fireplace a friend of mine gave me when they tore it out of their house. The cool part is, when you move it around, it's actually got a big gap in it and a cool gear inside. Skull was built extra big on that side to accommodate the eye, and then on the other side I left it empty. I used the gold foil pen, covered the teeth, and the cool pattern is on his skull. He's also got a big oak symbol on the back of his noodle. This piece currently has a pirate hat in the works for it that will be made out of steel. It's supposed to go with a treasure chest Josh and I started a little while ago. Actually, it might even be like a year and a half ago now. Noodle. while those other ones are outrageous with like lots of add-ons, this one was quite simple. This is the 5th one I did. And I wanted to make it more simple, just the wood pieces. And this is what I got going on. This one I call Voodoo. I really wanted to work with the lines of the wood, so I made this tribal type stylized design on top of it. I really thought that the blackened wood would contrast the pink and purples really well, which I feel like it did. And you can still see the centers of these two trees right there on the back of the head. That looks really cool. And it's awesome when you can find a piece of tree like that. And on this design, I also tried to make more holes in it, more dynamicism to like see how much more I could utilize the layers. I'll also show you a piece in a later video that elaborates on this design. This is the last piece I'm going to show you tonight, and it's by far my favorite. I call this one Rocket. As you can see, he's got 30-30 bullets for his teeth. He's got an old tongue ring of mine from when I was quite a bit younger. And then in the eyes, he's got shells for those 30-30s. The bullet shells and the bullets in his teeth and all the chrome. The paint job I gave him is red, because it signifies the group he comes from in that comic book I was telling you about earlier. This guy is also involved with that storyline. These rings on his side of his head are from camshafts from a 3.6 liter engine of a Chrysler vehicle of some sort. You can see the Chrysler symbol right there. This is the exhaust side. You can also see the holes that I added in. This one's also the exact same design as the Sky Chief, so you'll find similarities between the two, and obviously they turned out differently. The coolest part of this piece is I gave it a helmet. Now the helmet is made of cardboard and then coated in hockey tape and then coated in fiberglass. The grill is from my Edelbrock air intake from my Marauder, which you see in videos, the garage a lot. Love how Mad Max this looks. That's just an example of a few of the skulls I've done so far. It is my favorite one. I just really love how it has a helmet. That is cool. Got a couple others with helmets as well, and I'll show you those in future galleries, but for now I should show you these 5, and hang on because I'm going to show you how to actually carve one of these skulls. Step by step. Thanks for hanging out.